So here we're starting 253 with a new video, and the have taken a city. My siege capacity is now 0. It doesn't go any higher than that in this one. Carthaginians reinforced with some more Gauls. Gauls, I have tons of Gauls, and the feeling I've got is I don't have any kind of lightning campaigns planned with my current situation. So if my Gauls go home due to looting, so be it. You know, I can't really afford to lose many troops and still be operable, but I just don't know what else. You know, I mean, I could use my non-Gallic forces and avoid that difficulty, but then it might put me in a position where I need reliable troops, and all I can build is Gauls. Although I'm not running through my manpower very quickly at all. Okay, so, and it's because of this weird stasis where neither side's building troops. Carthage, not allowed to. But Rome's also failing. They attempted to build more legions and didn't get any. And what that means is they're probably not going to be able to press their attack to such an extent that they force Carthage to start becoming more than just cautious about things. In particular, the Rome Council has been put back in charge of the fleet, and we got a pretty decent one this time, at least in terms of having some activities. And I don't think I prorogued anyone. I allowed, hey, I got somebody interesting here, very, very active. Unfortunately, he's just a praetor, but it does mean that I can use all 3 of my praetor chips for that. Not sure how likely that is. This one, I have, he's not in Liguria anymore. I need a Sicilian praetor, or a Sicilian imperium for this one that I left off. I'm not sure how much I want to use my other praetors. One is the urban praetor, which is useless, and then the other one is this one, which is essentially under command of the field consul. He can be brought along as an additional magistrate with his troops, and that gives me a very strong 3-legion force here. I don't know if there's anyone else who's terribly likely to be doing anything. There's a proconsul here. Manlius, pretty effective. You can see I've got a mix of pieces available to me, most of them being the consuls, and they're only going to get 2 actions each. Hanno the Great is gone, and we had to add a new naval leader in, and we got Hanno Himmler, something like that, who's a little bit worse, and we'll just have to cope with that. You know, I still outclass the new Roman Navy by a lot. I gotta try to remember this time to get the Navy parked somewhere where I can put Corvi on board, say Regium or something, but I don't fit there. Yeah, it's just it's so dangerous to sail a fleet with those on board, but I don't know what else to really do. And we're going to have to try to figure out exactly what, because it's possible I might bring this guy into the Corsica, Sardinia area to try to win, you know, some victories over there. Certainly trying to press this just doesn't seem worthwhile at this point. And I don't know that a particularly bad military leader, an E-rated leader, is going to help me too much in Sicily, but he might be very valuable in an area where there are no Carthaginian armies right now. So that might be my goal, is to set sail northward this time and not challenge the big Carthaginian fleet directly. Of course, they can come up and interfere with me, but they can't bring an army with them, and that's the big problem. All right, I built troops. I built the kind of troops that say I'm not going to get Gisco for this turn again. Not a big deal. He doesn't really do much. Okay, and the Carthaginians open things up very aggressively, actually. You can see it didn't work very well. You know, Hamilcar marched over to try to lay siege to the Roman army. You get that whole thing pinned in there, And well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's possible that I could ambush them within the rough terrain, even though they're besieged. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. But the big thing was, hey, maybe I get some siege attritions. I weaken their army. Well, obviously they can intercept me when I try to lay a siege on them. So as soon as I moved into the hex, the Romans intercepted. Huge odds difference, almost 6-1. And it could have gone quite crazy because I got the extreme result, but I ended up getting, or the extraordinary results, but I ended up getting a really piss poor roll. And the Romans also had thrown some guile in to reduce the chances further, and there was already a -1. So we were quite far down that path of, yeah, the expected winner is going to win. And I was very happy, 30% losses. Not a major victory, though, because there weren't enough Carthaginians. There were only like 10 strength points of Carthaginians present. The thing that kind of I was counting on or hoping for with the Carthaginians was this heavy efficiency. I gotta look. I don't remember if they lose efficiency for losing battles. The Romans are able to turn one of their other legions veteran here. This turn promises to be interesting because there's a good chance the Romans are going to take this city. There's not a lot of Carthaginians under siege there. We've got the army trapped, and that could swing the whole situation. Hiero may have to come up and try to attack. If he loses, all of Syracuse becomes Roman, and then things become very different. Alternatively, though, I may hold off on moving Hiero and just say, well, you know, Syracuse's little empire here is keeping the Romans in some trouble in terms of they're not going to gain Syracuse's territory without throwing all of Syracuse into my hands. So maybe I'll just leave it there as my ally, as a safer alternative, that they don't want to risk things while Sicily overall isn't very strong for Carthage. Got a Dumvir move, moved a couple of these, and then we got an interesting little augury. Basically, this city, the units in it were destroyed. It's now Numidian, and Numidia is in revolt. Well, what does that mean? Jeez, I don't know. They don't give a reference, I don't think, for a Numidian revolt, whatever that is, in the augury. But I did find something. I found this, which I think is if Sicily's in revolt, but I don't know, somebody in revolt. But I couldn't find a counter for that. But what I found was on the back of this counter, there's the cheap Senate, which would replace my little sheet there that I made, say. And I think I complained about the game not providing enough support. In a sense, it does, but it doesn't really, because it doesn't tell you the effect, and it doesn't tell you any rules reference or augury reference or anything like that. It's just, here you go. I don't know what these buttheads are. There's a place where there's a decent amount of them, but I don't think this is it. I'll look in the setup. Maybe they're kicking around in there for some reason. Okay. But anyway, I was looking for something to indicate the Numidian revolt, and I don't have anything there. Maybe it's a modifier on this table. Nope. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I can find some rules, but until then I'm going to just say you can't raise any Numidian troops. That seems a sensible answer. Okay, our turn pretty much finishes up. Upgrading some crew ratings here on some of the fleets. As you can see over here, I sent up Praetor. I brought the Imperial Navy, as it were, under the Rome Council, well, the Republican Navy, into Corsica to support any attrition. But when I got another council marker, and I knew that's my last chance, and there was still a siege attrition in here, I withdrew back to Rome, figuring I'd rather not lose my navy due to the winter. And in fact, the Carthaginians lost their raiding navy up here. They did succeed in a raid down here with Hannibal Gisco, and you can see I've marked that. I'll move this leader into place. in the Roman pool. So yeah, now we're actually beginning to advance in a front that matters down here. Sardinia and Corsica, if those fall, well, if one of them falls, it's going to be a lot harder for Carthage to win. One of their conditions goes away based on them. Another one I think is still okay. The naval condition is still okay, and that's sort of the easier one to get. Wow, I wonder if I fulfilled it. This may be over, actually. This may have been over. I gotta look at the naval control conditions, because every major and secondary port in Sicily, they have that, and Mare Africum. Syracuse, Lilybaeum, Dipernum, Panoramum, Messina, Carthage, Utica, and Corrales. The game's over. The fact that Carthage got this was sufficient, and in fact it may have been over last turn. I just wasn't paying much attention. Oops. Alright, well, I'm fine with ending it here in a Roman defeat. I feel like the situation in Sicily went very badly against them in a lot of ways. They ended up getting poor leaders who couldn't react very well. And, you know, it's hard to build up the flexibility to do what I just did here, like trying to strike into Corsica. And you can see it didn't end anyway. It took longer. That's something I should have challenged earlier, but I was so focused on Sicily and on shipping troops into there that I didn't really realize how close Carthage actually was to a victory there. Okay, well, yay. I was expecting this to take a lot longer. Obviously, you know, I'm about halfway through. So I'm probably going to do the final scenario, the mercenary revolt, a little later. I'm going to push something in front of that right now. And I guess we'll put this tiny little video of one turn up. That probably never should have even happened.